Yo, what's going on, guys? Let's take a look at Nspr. Let's see what we got here. So, obviously you can see here that we were not able to catch support up in this level. Well, actually, it'll probably show us a little better on the daily here. We were not able to catch support up in this level here we talked about in a previous video. We were talking about this potentially being a bull flag here that could have broken out, but if we were to fall below this level here and we couldn't get back up, that we would probably not be doing so good. I'm pretty sure that when we originally made this video here, we might have been up in this range here, because I remember buying around $1.20 here and having my stop loss below $1.18. So I did actually get stopped out of this position here, and I did lose a little bit of money here. But fortunately, I guess for me, being that I'm a swing trader, not a long-term investor here, that I was able to get out before any of this happened here. We were talking about potentials of it coming back up and retesting this top upper line here, but if we couldn't find support in this box here, that we were going to potentially come down a lot lower. And we also were talking about I believe on this stock, let me just double check, that we had a TD9 flash coming in a few weeks here, and that we were a little bit overextended on the weekly RSI up in this range here. So that would mean that in a couple weeks we were going to get a correction. Now, although it didn't really go quite as planned, because, we didn't get much movement above that 120 level. I think we got maybe one wick above to 128, and that was really it, or something like that. I don't know if it was, I think it was around, maybe it was on this candle here. We got a wick from this level up to here, and it wasn't this red spinning top at the time when we made this video. It was actually, I believe it was like a green, looking like a nice green candle, and then it ended up closing the daily as this red spinning top. I don't know if it was here or if it was here, but either way, it was in somewhere in this box here, and it wasn't looking like this terrible candle at the time. But it did end up closing a daily, which is why it's always good to look at charts if you're swing trading, of course, because these candles will tell you a lot. This shows you that the buyers were able to push it up, but it had a flat top, so it had resistance somewhere, which was 125. And that, the sellers were able to push it all the way down. The buyers bought it back up here, but they weren't able to push it up much higher here, and we closed lower than this one, which caused it to be a red candle here, as well as this candle here having that little bit of the wick below was also a good signal here, showing that the sellers were starting to get in control here. Although the buyers bought it up, the sellers still pushed it back down, and they were even able to, this wasn't a flat bottom here like the rest. These are flat, like every time you get a flat bottom on a green candle, it usually shows that the buyers are very much in control here. Okay, so needless to say, this support area was very, very strong, and it was very, very crucial. And you can see on this spinning top, although we came all the way down here to $1 and we came all the way back up here, we still closed the daily below this trend line here, and this was the signal of all times that it was time to potentially get out of this play and pivot. So, I pivoted out of this play here, and I didn't lose too much. But the thing about, small cap and these cheaper dollar stocks and stuff, even if the company is phenomenal here, the problem is that you can buy so many shares here that even if you put $500-600 here, you're getting so many shares that when the price action moves up a couple cents, you can make a lot of money. But when it moves down a couple cents, you can lose a lot of money here. So, versus buying like 2 shares of Tesla, maybe it goes down $100, you lose $100. You buy 1,000 shares of this and it goes down 5-6 cents here, you could be out a couple $100. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's the thing. So when things like this is occurring, and this isn't just NSPR, you guys know the whole market did this, but you can lose a lot more money. So a lot of people stop losses were getting triggered. They were panic selling. They were doing all this, and it's just causing it to go further and further to the point where, It did try to catch some support here. We did get a daily TD9 flash here. It wicked a little bit below, got a nice bounce, wicked all the way down here, came back up, but it still closed right below here. And then the next one, we got a trend reversal, like hammer candle here. So, I was kind of looking at this, and you can see here I have some trend lines here. Now, if you guys have TradingView, I have a TradingView account here, and I do a lot of stuff that I try to post. I can do this fast, and I post what's going on here in the stock market and what I'm feeling about certain plays. I got NSPR here. I got my edit plays, NSPR here, talking about different things that could occur, talking about levels it could go down to, and right here, last time it broke support here, I'm writing here, last time it did support, it found good support at 64 cents. So that could be the level here. A lot of people were like, no way, it's up at 84 cents at the time of this posting. And they were like, no, people are saying it's making a cup and handle. It's not going below 80 cents. And I said, well, could go up here, So that being said, if you do have, you can get this for free. And if you do have this, try to look for me if you want, because I do post a lot of things, different plays that are going up, going down, this and that, breakouts to play, entries, stop losses, all of that. I mean, I've been doing a lot of edit and stuff, but this is how I can do stuff on the fly here, so that I can post and say where things are going and stuff like that, where I'm taking profits, where I'm entering. I did this SQQQ where we entered at $15 and I took profits somewhere. It didn't quite hit 1681, but it did hit 1640 or something. I took profits there. So just needless to say, I do a lot of different postings on here and show different support and resistances here that we can get in. So I just wanted to put that on the radar here, because if you guys have TradingView, you can go in there and if you can't see these videos of me posting all the time during, while I'm at work and stuff, I can't really do that. But at lunchtime, I do occasionally post, stuff that I'm getting into or where I'm watching for support. So this was one that I was really keeping an eye on here. And I talked about 64 cents being an area. And, I did have a breakdown target of 66 cents. And then I had my support level here at 64 cents based off of all of this action here where we found support in the past. And when we found support, even after we finally created, like a small, whatever, this could have been like a small bull flag. I mean, it's really hard because there's a lot of wicks here. But, it could have been potentially a bearish descending triangle here that actually broke to the upside. And then we had this descending triangle here. And, I was saying if we broke below 81 cents, and then you would put your stop loss there. And if it broke above 87 cents as high as 90 cents, we would go long up to 91 cents here. But it's a bearish pattern, so expect potential downside. And obviously we broke down from that. And we actually wicked all the way down almost to this 200 daily EMA. So, what can we find from this? Another thing I guess we could do here was we can look at why did it bounce at 58 cents, because obviously you can see on the wicks here that there isn't any wicks really that it went across from. I mean, maybe a tiny bit here, but that's still the wicks lower, and we almost touched the 200, so that could have been a potential area. But quickly, if we take a fib retracement here from this low, and I'm going to have to move the screen up to readjust it to this swing high, where is our support here? We had support at 89 cents, which actually lines up perfectly where we wicked up here prior, right? So that's my first box. And then we had support at 75 cents, which was an area of confluence I was looking for due to these couple wicks here. With the 0.618, this would have been a great buying opportunity. Still is, but we have to get above that now. And then the 0.786 was at 56 cents, which it didn't quite hit right here, right? It hit 58 cents or so. So those were levels to look for. But I did put a purchase in, and I put a limit buy here at 64 cents, and I did get filled on that. And I'm looking to buy some more if I can get it around there. If it gets support above the 618, I'll happily buy some more there. So, let's take a look at the smaller time frames here on the hourly and see if we could see what's going on. I'm going to get rid of this fib retracement here. So, obviously we wicked below the support box, but although we wicked below, we still bought back up here, right? We got an hourly close above this support box, perfect with the flat bottom, and we, which was a good sign. And then this next candle here was the real hourly close, because this could happen, anything could happen in this candle, right? But it did close there. That's perfect. So we want to keep an eye on this candle here. And then we got that beautiful volume in right here. And that was the entry candle right here. So I entered a little bit here. I front ran it a little bit, right? That's just because I was okay with buying it at 64 cents, even if it came down lower. And then on this hourly here, we didn't quite double bottom, but we did have a couple wicks down here, proving to me that, this was definitely an area of where buyers were liking to come in here. So where we got rejected as of right now on the hourly was the 20 EMA. That's where we ended up closing below. Even though we wicked all the way up here to 73 cents, which is close to that 0.618, people probably took profits a little earlier because 0.75 was the 618 where we got rejected right here. And then people probably were like, all right, well, I'm not going to take exactly at 75. I'll swing this thing up here and maybe take some around 74, 73, something like that. So it did get a little sold, but, let's see where we're at. If we could come back down, if we did come back down, where would we come to? So if we look at the RSI, as of right now, there's bearish divergence here because we got such a big bounce here, right? So potentially this was a falling channel here, which, the lines don't line up as good on the hourly here. But if you look here on the 4 hourly where I have this falling wedge here, we do have a nice breakout of this falling wedge here, and it's just starting out. So we could come up higher here. Now, what you'd want to wait and see, right, would be this would be your confirmation. So we had this nice spinning top showing that, it's indecision. We had beautiful volume coming in on the 4 hourly. We did close with support here and resistance at the 200 on here. Okay, and we closed right in the middle. So nobody really knows what to do, but we did get some nice buying in here finally after a long downswing. Your next candle, you want to see it hold this support at the 64, 65 area here, and you'd like to see a candle like that with a flat bottom, even if it has a nice wick up here that I can't draw a wick here for some reason. But I don't know why this thing never wants to let me draw wicks. But either way, yeah, I guess I just can't go right there. So that'll have a wick on it, and you want to see a candle like that. Because from all of my videos, if you do keep up with me, that a setup like that is a trend reversal. So if you're not in this play and you were looking to get in this play at some point, your safest entry would be once this candle closes there on the 4 hour, then you look for your next candle here and see if we get some nice volume coming in and all of that, right? So that's what we want to look for, and that could happen. So it could come back down a little bit lower, which would be maybe back here, and it's going to probably get some good support at the 64.75. And we'll have to see how that plays out, because this is potentially right now, according to the RSI, a breakout of a falling wedge. Now, a lot of stocks were in falling wedges during the first dump that we had, and I was trying to play some falling wedges here. If I look at the falling wedge here on the 4 hour based off the chart, I'm not quite seeing, how would I do this? I'm seeing more of like a falling channel. Maybe if we did the wedge, if we pulled these, eventually they would connect probably, right? Let's see. Something like that. So, this could just be a big falling channel here, right? A lot of people were talking about this being a cup and handle, and I guess it could be a cup and handle. It very well could be. Let me see if I can figure out if this would make any sense here. So, did we get rejected there? We almost got rejected perfectly there, and this would be the handle. So, as of right now, let's look and see what this breakout of this potential falling channel would be. You would take from the end of the beginning of it, and you would pull a breakout, we put a breakout from, if it broke out on the next 4 hourly candle here, that would be your breakout, which is pretty close to my old original target, which would be 98 cents. Now, of course, it's not going to come right up here in one solid swoop potentially, because you're going to get some resistance at all of these areas here. You're going to get resistance at this 4 hourly, which is 88 cents. You're going to get resistance at this 89 cent support box here, and you're going to get resistance up here at this 94 cents. Now, you want to get an hourly close above this trend line here before it's actually really showing that we're getting fucking bullish, because you can see here that we came down here, wicked below, bought back up, came back down, caught support. You know, we were getting these closes, but they were all red candles, which wasn't a good thing to see. You're getting sell volume, you're getting no good buying volume here. And, you know, finally, when we did close below it, that was when we had the downturn. So now we're going to come back up, and we're going to try to come up and maybe test this line again. And, you know, it could come up to 89 cents, and it could get rejected here. And it could come back down here to the 64 cents. That's very possible. And if it did, that to me, that would still be okay, because if we did buy up here, we came back down to reset the RSI. If we did get a bounce, then we could get a nice, big, juicy bounce out of there. You know, and if it didn't come up with that much power, come up, down, come up, catch some support, flag out before moving up further, so on and so forth. So that's kind of where I'm looking at. Now, obviously, you can see the moving averages are all pointing down, which isn't a good thing, because it will push the price down usually. But if we get some turning around here, which it looks like we're getting some. Look at the volume stick on the 45-minute there. You know, but we're getting resistance right now here at the 73 cents, 74 cents. So you'd want to get above the 75 cent area. You'd want to get above this 80 cent area with a nice close up, up in this range here. And then you'd be geared for a takeoff. So if the market is turning around and bouncing, then this would be a great thing. And if this was a cup and handle here, let's take a look. If this was a cup and handle, let me get rid of this couple of these lines here. Okay. Then, and I'm not a big fan of the cup, but I'm seeing something that could be a little bit different. But, you know, your cup and handle target, right, would be huge. $2.73. What I would probably look at it as would be, and this will take some time to play out and see what happens, would be a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder. So it would probably have the same potential target here, but you would want to get this close above the neckline of the potential inverse head and shoulders here. So I'm trying to see what would be the neckline. Would it be here? Very possible. It's kind of an ugly one as well. It's kind of an ugly one. So, I mean, maybe a cup and handle looks a little better. Either way, you know, with this daily EMA rounding like this, it could push you lower, but you really want to get above this dollar again. And obviously to start, you know, you have to just work your way up through these other support zones here in this other structure. But, you know, let's look at the daily RSI. So, you know, as of right now, you do have, if we get a bounce on this daily, you will have very, very good bullish divergence right now, because this is the drop right here on the left, and we're straight across, if not a little higher on the right here. And on the chart, this is the price action on the left, and this is where we are on the right, way down here. So that is, if we do get a daily bounce here, that is bullish divergence. So you do want to, if you're not in this and you want to wait for an entry, you want to wait for this to get a nice bounce, and you want to see a nice green candle close on this daily here. And then the following candle after this nice close on the daily, if it's like a nice flat bottom candle, you would enter on this following daily candle and you should get a pretty good pump because it'll look just like this probably. Even if this wasn't a flat bottom, we got some nice volume, we had a green candle, and then our next one, boom, we took off. So that would be something to keep in mind here as well. I'm not trying to psych everyone up completely, but I do like that it held this 21-week EMA right around this 58-cent area. We did get a pretty mean correction here on this RSI. A pretty good spike, and the RSI does kind of look like a cup and handle here as well. Okay, so we are getting squeezed right now between this 21-week EMA at roughly 58 cents and this 200 EMA at $1.38, $1.37. So over the course of the weeks, as long as this EMA continues to push up, it will eventually, as long as we stay above it, push our price up here, and that should give us a nice breakout. And with this reset of the RSI here, if we do continue holding up in this range higher than this area, you saw the spike that we had from 33 cents to $1.50, and the RSI went from here to here. So now if the RSI resets here, now even if it comes down a little bit more or resets here, then you could get a nice spike up again, which could actually push you up here above this 200. So longer term, I love this thing. Short term, obviously, it's going to get a little bit of a correction here. But if we look at the hourly here, we're trying to get above this 20 EMA here. So we really want to see that happen, and we want to see it getting closes above this 90 cents again before thinking that it could come down any lower. So, if it did come down lower and we don't have anything really getting affected in the market due to this stimulus news here, then let's see. This would be the resistance. Then obviously you could be looking for potentially some lower targets here. But really depends how the market's going to react here from here on out. That's going to be a SARE, because all of these moving average can turn back around, because this was kind of your long-term trend here. So this was broken, unfortunately, but it was probably let's see, going off of those 3 wicks, it was probably a big rising channel here that fell out. And what's the breakdown of this if this was a rising channel here? Roughly exactly where we landed, a little bit lower. 54 cents was the breakdown target. So, it got bought up a little bit sooner. So that's okay, because usually if you hit your target, that's a good place for it to bounce. And as long as we maintain above this 64 cents level, this is where I'm targeting as strong support. We can just do the same thing we did over here. Consolidate before another breakout. Come up, consolidate for another breakout. Even if it's gonna be a little bit, though, it can't get too bullish, because we have these moving averages that still need to cross negative, and then they still have to turn around and come back up. Same with the 4 hour. How's the moving averages? So we just got this daily death cross, or 4 hour death cross. So depending on if it decides to be it right there, right? Because it could just start to turn here. And then we could come up here, test it, come back down, get rejected, come up here, test it, get above it, flag out like we talked about. It's really going to depend on how everything's going. But long term, I am still bullish on this thing. And even a little bit short term, I'm looking for some, if we can get above any of these levels here, I'm still looking for some good turning around here. But I'm pretty sure that this is going to be the bottom of this thing. Don't quote me on that, but that's where I'm feeling, that this area right here is the bottom. So For me, I am starting to buy here again. I waited through all of this. I didn't have this rising channel drawn up till now, because now I'm seeing it, which kind of wish I saw this prior, because this probably would have been of help. But I still ended up exiting somewhere up here. But, you know, that's me being a swing trader. If you're a long-term investor, what would you do? Or what would I do? Because I can't tell you what to do. I would try to start buying some around this area here and lowering your average. This is a good time to start buying shit. If you look on the 4-hour, we did get a nice bounce here on the RSI, which is good to see. So that kind of was a confirmation. I mean, I don't know if there's quite bullish divergence. I mean, we could stretch it and say, like I said before, that this could be bullish divergence here, but it's possible. But we're very overextended. And look what happened last time. We came all the way down below this dotted line. We came up, came down, came up, boom, and took off. And now, came up, came down, came up, you know what I mean? And then maybe we'll fucking take off. So that's where I'm at with this one. I am going to continue to purchase. I'm not going to jump right in. If this thing runs up to 80 cents, I'm not just going to jump in and say, oh my God, it's going all the way up. I'm just going to wait. And wait it out and be patient. If it wants to come up here, that's fine. If it comes back down here, boom, I'll buy. If it comes up here, rejected, come back down, I'll buy. If it comes up here and I never get to see it down here again, I'll wait. Starts getting consolidating, maybe gets back up on this trend line, I'll buy. So I'm okay with my first purchase being down there. I'm not going to chase it. I'll let it do its thing. So that's where we're at here. You know, we could just see some sideways action. We could see a little bit of, you know, it's going to start finding itself in some type of pattern. If it breaks out of this, that's cool. If it comes back down, that's cool too. But long term, the thing looks great. Short term, mid-term, you know, we're going to just see some choppiness coming up, coming down, coming up, coming down. Maybe it'll trend in this box for a little while. This area here was from January 20th to February 5th. So almost a month. So you could be chopping in here for almost a month. So just keep that in mind here. So it's not a rush, but it does, you don't, just no way of telling right now if it's going to consolidate up here for a month, which would look better on the chart than it consolidating here, because you're coming from a downwards movement sideways. It's usually not as good as an upward movement sideways for a month. So we'll have to see how it goes. But that's all I got for you guys. I know it's a little bit of a long video, but that's where I'm at with this. Keep this one on your radar here. And I hope you guys like this video. If you got time, please hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. And that's all I got for you now. Have a good market week. This is going to be a pretty interesting week.